It's called hydroponics or aquaponics, the practice of growing plants in water without soil. It may sound like a futuristic concept, but it's not. Ancient cultures from the Aztecs to the Chinese and Babylonians were growing food and water without soil hundreds and even thousands of years ago. Hydroponics and aquaponics are a growing trend among small and large-scale farmers throughout the world and here in Utah.
We're operating in 10,000 square feet.
We're in roughly 5,000 square feet total.
We are in Ascent Farms farm. We're actually inside of a shipping container.
Along with farmers who are already doing it, Utah State University is conducting research into the viability of hydroponic and aquaponic farming as an option for plant-based food businesses. There is even a demonstration garden at the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food. In this video, we will briefly look at how these systems work and how much they cost. We'll explore the economic viability of the method and check in on a State of Utah funding opportunity through the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food. When starting a water-based growing system, the first choice to make is whether to go with an aquaponic system, where the waste from living fish is converted to nitrogen fertilizer for the plants, or to skip the fish and add pre-packaged fertilizer. Growing crops in fertilizer-enhanced water is known as hydroponics. One reason to consider aquaponics is that the fish not only fertilize the plants, they can also be used as a crop as well.
We can use the fish to fuel our plants, but then we can also give the fish back to the community once they've grown to that proper size and just keep going in that sustainable cycle.
Aquaponics does require the extra step of filtering the water from the fish tank through a media bed to convert the waste materials into a form of nitrogen the plants can use. Getting the biofilter just right is often the most difficult part of aquaponic growing. While there are other differences as well, both types of systems are fairly similar.
The plants sit in nutrient water, and the water is continuously flowing on the roots. So you can see, like this plant, this is a basil plant, and the roots of this are just constantly being bathed in the water 24/7.
One of the big advantages of hydroponics and aquaponics is the ability to grow more food in less space.
This machine at full capacity can do almost 100 pounds a week.
Yeah, I'm harvesting approximately 3,000 to 4,000 plants a week.
Just how much food hydroponic farmers can grow on a given space depends partly on whether they grow completely on horizontal tables and grow beds, do a combination of vertical and horizontal growing, or use a vertical-only approach. Additionally, hydroponics is mostly done in controlled environments, which allows for year-round growing and more crops per year. While there is a lot of evidence you grow more food in less space using water, the startup costs can be high. The ongoing lighting, heating, and ventilation costs are something outdoor farmers don't usually encounter.
Just the hydroponic system for the tables, the channels, all of that stuff can be upwards of 60 to 80,000.
For a system this size with these type of materials, you'd be looking at around $100,000 at least without the greenhouse costs built into that.
The Ascent Farms shipping container farm cost about $90,000 complete, including lighting and computerized nutrient monitoring. All three farmers we visited are finding a customer base and believe their businesses will be successful. But can hydroponics and aquaponics be a viable farming segment in Utah? For some answers, we went to the Utah State University Botanic Center in Kaysville. There we met with Taylor Wayman, who is in the early stages of research into hydroponic and aquaponic growing.
I definitely think there is a demand and an interest in it, and we're going to put some budgets together too to show how much we spent to build these small systems and to show that, kind of at least show part of the costs that might be involved in setting up something like this. But I think the demand's out there, especially the off-season type of crops, and the demand there for things in the winter and in those harsher seasons. And it's nice that our crops grow a little faster than they do traditionally in the soil. So that's promising, and also being able to grow year-round. I think that's definitely an advantage for this type of concept. But that's part of what we're trying to show is at the end of the grant is yes or no. Yeah, it's feasible. We think you'll make a little more money, or your margins will be a little bit better if you do it this way, or no. I suspect that it will be a little bit better off. It'll have some nice margins as compared to traditional growers, I believe, especially if you don't already have the land.
But even with the prospect of higher margins and more profits down the road, there is still the issue of startup costs. For more than 40 years, the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food has managed the State Agriculture Resource Development Loan Program, or ARDL. While ARDL has lent a lot of money over the years to water projects that use less water than alternatives, providing loans for hydroponics is new.
It's very new, and it's something that we've been trying to encourage for agriculture in Utah. It's an opportunity, especially for urban farmers, to be able to make a living doing agriculture in the state. And we can loan on high tunnels, we can loan on hydroponic systems.
However, Hogard says there are some stipulations. The maximum Utah Department of Agriculture and Food can loan on high tunnels, hydroponic systems, or a combination is $100,000, and the maximum loan duration is 15 years. Borrowers do not have to own the land, but they have to show that they have a lease that will last at least as long as the loan. Borrowers also have to provide collateral of either real property or water stock from a water company.
The state requires to be in first lien position on any loan, so that way we have the protection of those dollars for the state. Yes, they may not have sufficient collateral. That would be one of the biggest issues we could run into, is not having sufficient collateral, or they don't have the lease. It would not be long enough for the duration of the loan for the property that they were planning on building on. All of those kind of things could be reasons why they could be declined.
Hogard says UDAF is excited about the opportunity these loans can bring to grow more food, especially in urban areas, and he believes the systems can give growers a competitive advantage. There are many questions to still be answered about how important aquaponics and hydroponics may be to Utah agriculture moving forward. Research will continue even here in Utah, but there are online and in-person information resources, as well as potential state of Utah loans for farmers who want to begin utilizing this new old way of growing food.